All right, Toronto, we are back. Man, it's time for us to continue our GM mode commentary with your Toronto Maple Leafs. So in the last video, we had the NHL entry draft of 2020. We also had the re-sign stage, and we had some very good news. At the trade deadline, we acquired Taylor Hall from the New Jersey Devils, and we gave up a boatload. Logan Brown, who was our second-line center at the time, a first-round pick, 2 second-round picks, and another prospect in there. And I was thinking that he was just going to be a rental. I didn't think I'd be able to re-sign him. Well, the good news is that we signed him to a 6-year, $6.5 million per year deal. And that's going to take him to the same year as, who was that? Mitch Marner down there, Austin Matthews. So we got him signed long term. And as a guy who's only 28 years of age, I mean, that's really good. He helped us win our second Stanley Cup in 3 years, hoping that he can help us turn this team into a dynasty. But to sign Taylor Hall, we did have to free up some cap space. So Kirby Reichel is gonzo. But this year is a very special year, boys. We have to make some decisions. I still have to go through free agency. When you look at our NHL squad, Frederik Andersen, still our goaltender for this year. Our defensemen, we already have 6 guys. Hang on, unrestricted free agent. Jesus, where am I looking at? Goalies, defensemen. Morgan Rielly, Connor Carrick, Jake Gardiner, Ville Polka, Eric Jelena, and Andrew Nelson. Those are going to be our 6 defensemen. And forwards, we got so many forwards coming up. Our top 6, I might even have to make a trade because I don't know how Daniel Sprong and Timo Shov are going to grow. These guys might become legitimate top 6 forwards this preseason, right? So we already have our forward core, but the interesting this year is preparing for the future. Harold Bluetooth, Frederik Andersen, he's in his last year of his deal. I was thinking about trading him, but he's already got 2 Stanley Cups. I'd love to go for that hat trick with him, so we're going to hold on to him. Main roster. Why do I keep on going main roster? Goaltenders. What the hell am I going? In the system, yeah. But our goaltender that we drafted 2 years ago when we traded away Nazem Kadri, Patrick Spacek. He's 74 overall, medium elite. I'm hoping that this year he gets a little bit better, maybe closer to the 80s, and we stack up the AHL squad. Make sure that they're the best team in the AHL so that this guy has incredible AHL stats so that next year, if we can't sign Frederik Andersen, we'll let him go to free agency, and boom, Spacek comes right in there, okay? So that's the plan, boys. There is nobody in free agency that we can sign. We only have $1.5 million of cap space. So I've gone ahead and I've already looked at who I could sign for the AHL squad. Already did it. I don't know if they're going to sign or not. So let's just jump to preseason because that's where our work is going to be done in this video. Preseason. So let's go, boys. So here we go. Preseason, year number 5. The Toronto Maple Leafs looking for their 3rd Stanley Cup. So let's take a look at our roster. See who got the jump. I'm hoping for a really good team this year. Roster moves. So Sprong, Timo Shov, and the AHL squad. I got to take a look at this. So Harold Bluetooth is still 89 overall. I signed this guy, what was his first name? Christopher Gibson. He was the Los Angeles Kings. Was he on the Leafs at one point? I think he was. Christopher Gibson. He's only 79 overall, but we couldn't afford a backup, so he's going to be our backup for this year. Hopefully, he doesn't ruin the season for us. Spacek has grown to a 76, so he was a 74 the preseason, jumped him up to a 76. He's better than Garrett Sparks at 75, so he will be the starting goaltender in the AHL this year. Now, he's listed as a minor league backup goalie. We're playing him as a starting goaltender, so we have to make sure the team is fantastic because 76 ain't, it's not an 80. It's not like a 79 or an 80, or I've even seen an 82 goaltender in the AHL flourish. So we have to have a really good team. So hang on a second here. NHL. So Morgan Rielly at 92. Connor Carrick, look at that, guys. Jumped up to 89. Maybe you guys were right. Play him on the first line. Good God. Well, I'll be playing him on the second line because our lineup with Morgan Rielly and Ville Polka, I got to keep those guys together. Jake Gardiner and Connor Carrick on the second line. Eric Jelena and Andrew Nelson on the third defensive pairing. I'll drop Nelson down. I'll figure out the injury lineups in a second here. Valiev, Barberio, Louvre, Hedberg, Nelson, Middleton, Joktan, Cheney, Yoka Harju. So we have a lot of guys. Like I signed, not Valiev. I signed Barberio. I signed Nelson. I still want to play some of our young guns like Joktan Cheney. He's 72. Hedberg 77. But Middleton, I think I might want to trade in. Yoka Harju 71. I might want to trade him as well. We don't need all these medium top 6 defensemen. I need to get a stud team in there. Okay, so there's the defensive core. Didn't mean to go to the NHL. Let's look at forwards for the NHL. William Nylander is 90. Mitch Marner 89. Kasperi Kapanen 86. Sprong 85. 84, so they didn't grow. Ty Ratty, I decided to sign him for the AHL squad, a sniper on the first line. Same thing with this guy, Pippinen. Just confirm, send you down. Let's take a look at in the system. Hyman, Ratty, okay. NHL, back to the left wingers. Taylor Hall, James Van Riemsdyk, 87. Has he started to drop yet? No, he's still listed as exact elite potential, so we're okay right there. Timo Shav, he's still stated at 84, so these guys will still be fine as third liners. Austin Matthews, he's grown up to a 92. Hell yeah, man. Austin Matthews starting to hit his prime now. He's only 22 years of age. Good God. Frederick Gauthier, 85. Woo! This guy's getting much better. It's his defensive stats, though. Look at that, shot blocking and stick checking. Cody Eakin and Olin. Well, we're missing some players here, aren't we? Giroux, left wingers. There you go. Belfour, you got to get up here. And we lost out on Kirby Reichel, but I think Grundstrom, look at this guy, 84. Grundstrom, two-way forward. Hell yeah, Grundstrom can fill in for Kirby Reichel, and he's less than $1 million, so that makes a lot of sense. I'll bring you up. All right, so I'll bring these two guys up. We have 20. Let me just go back to the NHL here. Who do I not need? Belfour, I'm going to need. Oland, I'm not going to need you. And right wingers, Roden, I'm not going to need you. Might have to bring them up for injury purposes. But as it stands, that is our NHL squad. So let's just go to edit lines. I'll do this all myself. I just want to show you guys quickly. Options. All right, so best line. So Taylor Hall, Austin Matthews, Mitch Marner. They're saying to put Sprong, Eakin, and Nylander on the second line. JVR, Gauthier, and Kapanen on the third line. Belfour, Grundstrom, and Timoshev on the fourth line. I mean, that is a filthy team, but you're going to have ice time problems for sure. I think you got to go back with what worked in the playoffs for us. JVR, Taylor Hall, and Austin Matthews. Mitch Marner, William Nylander, and Kasperi Kapanen, who can play on the other, both right wings. All right, so Nylander over there. Kasperi Kapanen right there. Sprong, Gucci. No. Where's Cody Eakin? There he is. Sprong, Cody Eakin, and Timoshev. And I know Gauthier is 85. He's listed as a third line checking forward. He'll be on the first line penalty kill, so he'll get plenty of ice time. But his offensive numbers ain't the greatest. Passing's only at 80. Offensive awareness is only at 80. It's his physical, which is 5-star, his skating, which is 5-star, his defense, which is jacked up in the shot blocking and stick checking, and he's got a really hard shot. So that's what makes up that overall. He will be a nice fourth line center with two left wingers, Carl Grundstrom and Greg Belfour as fourth liners. Defensively, I'm going to go with Connor Carrick and Jake Gardner, boys. This has been the nice lineup. You got to split the defensemen up. The 92 with the 85 and the 89 with the 86. It works out. Eric Jelena and Andrew Nelson. Now, the AHL squad. Very interesting here. Best line. So, Connor Brown, Danny Monahan, I decided to sign him as well, and Zach Hyman. Hyman might be the perfect player for the injury for the Toronto Maple Leafs. I want to get Ty Ratty. Yeah, Ty Ratty will be the first line right wing. Martins Durskels, will this guy be minor league scoring forward? This guy could be up in the NHL squad as well. Yeah, I'll bring him up. So we got all these other guys. Defensively, Barbario, Louvre, Valiev, Nelson, Hedberg, and Middleton. So you can see a high 70s up there for the defensemen and goaltenders. Patrick Spacek at 76. So, boys, give me some time here. I'm going to do some line changes, and I'm going to see if we have too many players and trade them away for draft picks. So just give me like 5 minutes here. Okay, so that actually took a little bit longer than 5 minutes, but we got it done. So the NHL and the AHL squads are ready to go. I'll take you guys through it. So with the Toronto Maple Leafs, we got JVR with Austin Matthews and Taylor Hall, Kasperi Kapanen with Mitch Marner and William Nylander, Dmytro Timoshev, Cody Eakin, and Daniel Sprong with Greg Belfour, Frederick Gauthier, and Carl Grundstrom. I got to get used to that name now. So a filthy forward core. Very similar to last year's, just subtract Kirby Reichel. Defensively, we got Morgan Riley with Ville Polka, Jake Gardner with Connor Carrick, and Eric Jelena and Andrew Nelson. And if you guys are wondering why their numbers dropped, I made a trade. I just traded away some prospects, and these guys actually got upset with it. So 91 now for Austin Matthews. Maybe when you make a trade after winning a Stanley Cup, it resets the good times you guys were on. I don't know. Morgan Riley dropped down as well. So did Connor Carrick. So whatever. Special teams, power play looks the exact same as the 5-on-5, but I got Daniel Sprong in there, and also the penalty kill because we want to play that third line, give them tons of ice time. Cody Eakin, first line penalty killer. Frederick Gauthier, second line penalty killer, and we got Dmitro Timoshov and Kasperi Kapanen on the wings for the penalty kill because their defensive categories are actually pretty good, and I want to give these guys ice time. All right, so that is basically the NHL squad. Now, if we take a look at the AHL squad, this might be the best AHL squad the Toronto Marlies have ever put to the ice. We got Ty Ratty in there. I made a trade for him. I picked up Linus Olin. There's going to be a lot of names in here you guys don't recognize. I'm trying to find Connor Brown. Wickman, yeah, there's another draft pick that we had. Left wing, medium, bottom six, forward potential. He's a two-way. He might turn out to be something, so we're going to put him on the first line. But look at that. High 70s everywhere on that team. And defensively, we got Colton White, Mark Barbario, Casey Nelson, Rinyat Valiev, and then our two prospects, Tom Hedberg, medium top six potential defenseman at 21 years of age, and Jockton Cheney. This guy, we drafted him 7th overall back in 2017. He really has not grown into anything. His census is 1 star. Oh my God. So we'll see if this guy can grow or not. I traded away Yoka Harju, though. There was no room for him on the team. Maybe that's why they got angry. All right, so there it is, boys. Your Toronto Maple Leafs and your Toronto Marlies. Yeah, I made a trade with the Anaheim. It was like a guy who was like 80 overall. He was somewhere in the AHL squad. I just unloaded a prospect for 2 guys in the like high 70s or low 80s for the AHL squad with no trade potential. They're there somewhere. Okay, so that's that, boys. The Toronto Maple Leafs, 95, 93, and 89 statistically, and the Toronto Marlies, look at that, man. The offense for the Toronto Marlies is up at 84, defense 81, goaltending only 76, but we're hoping that changes. So this year, I'm hoping that obviously we can get back in the playoffs. You know what? I actually said this in a previous video. If we could get, let's just go like the first month here. Yeah, let's go past Ottawa. If we can get a President's Trophy in the middle of this 3 Stanley Cup run, that would be fantastic as well. That's one trophy that has eluded us so far. We've had a pretty good. We've had a few couple. Jesus. We've had a couple good regular seasons so far, but we've always trailed off. There's always been like a 20-game period or a 15-game period where we lose more than we win, and we end up losing that President's Trophy. We need a consistent year from beginning to end, and we got to stay out of those injuries. So the OHL, you know I love it, boys. The OHL forwards for 6 weeks. Do we have our first round? I think we have our first round pick for this year. It was Taylor Hall we acquired last year at the trade deadline, and we traded away our first-round pick from that year. Yeah, I think we still got it from this year. Scouting for the amateur scouts, I think it's likely to be a bit weaker than normal. Well, that's all right. We already have a young stud team. And like I said, man, Austin Matthews, only 22 years of age at 90. Well, he's 91 overall now, but 22, man. 22 with 2 Stanley Cups as a captain of the Toronto Maple Leafs. I mean, you got 10 years before he's 32 to win his 3rd Stanley Cup. That's a successful career already. So let's go, boys. Preseason is gonzo. The Toronto Maple Leafs, not the greatest in preseason. 3-4-0. Hopefully we can get that rust off of us and go into the regular season clicking. Yeah, first game of the regular season, we win it 6-2. I also got to keep an eye on the Marley games as well. Let's see, the Marlies win their first game of the regular season. Good. All right, boys. So we got to talk about the future in this simulation because. If we're winning games, we're going to go all the way up to the All-Star break in this video. I'd like to anyways. If we start to lose games, though, hang on a second. Let's get out of this first month before I change topics, because we do have to talk about the future. With Frederik Andersen coming up, his contract coming up this year, I mean, that's a big-time trading asset that I don't want to just have gone off the team through free agency, right? I'd love to sign him, especially if Patrick Spacek's not ready for next year. He might not be ready for next year. Sign him and then trade him after that. I think we might have to do that with Frederik. All right, so let's see here. The Toronto Maple Leafs, after the first month of simulation, 4-3-1, not the greatest, and the Toronto Marlies 4-2-0. So let me just quickly take a look at the team standings and the statistics. I mean, it's the same lineup as we had last year, but, I mean, we just can't get that President's Trophy. I don't know if it's we just don't have the right lineups or if it's just coincidence or maybe if other teams in our division are growing and have similar have a similar roster. They compete with us. I don't know. So hang on a second. Entire league points. The Toronto Maple Leafs, we're not even in the top 14 for points right now. We are 17th in the NHL. All right, it's still early. Goals for per game. Are we scoring goals? That's the question. Toronto Maple Leafs. We are 17, 2.88 goals against goals for per game. You know, that's not horrible. I think if that number stays there and we get another month or two into the season, we will climb up. These teams that are way above 3, they'll come back down to earth. Goals against per game, though. Let's see. The Toronto Maple Leafs. You know what? I mean, I'd like the goals against to be slightly lower. I'd like the goals for to be slightly higher, but that's still a pretty good spot. Like, if we're at January with those numbers, we're higher up in the standings, I promise you. Power play percentage, 21.4. It's fine. I mean, we're right there. Yeah, you know what? We don't have a big enough sample size to be analyzing our team right now. Our penalty kill is up there at 94.7%. I'm telling you, man, Timoshev, Sprong, Eakin, and Gucci are fantastic penalty killers. Okay, so it's still way too early to tell. Player stats, though. I just want to go to player stats for 1 second, see what lines are performing for us. So Taylor Hall, he has 11 points in 8 games played. Austin Matthews, 9. JVR, 8. See, when I put these guys together during last year's playoff run, they started to score goals. So splitting up the playmakers might be a good idea. But now I have the problem with the second line because Mitch Marner and Nylander are both playmakers playing alongside of one another. Now, we got Kasperi Kapanen on that second line, but only 1 goal so far. All right, well, I'm not going to make any changes just yet. Let's see if we can get out of this. Oh, shit, I wanted to also check out Patrick Spacek's stats. Hang on a second here. AHL, goaltenders. Come on now, game. Keep up with me. Goalies, Patrick Spacek, so 2.21 goals against, 3-1-0, and a save percentage of .914. If he can have a season like that, I mean, look, he's already grown. If he can have a season like that, I guarantee you, you will see a huge jump from him. So that's why we stacked up the Toronto Marlies this year. Come on now, boys. Play well for Patrick Spacek. And if we see him growing throughout the year, then the team will automatically become better. I mean, if he's 83 by the time he gets into the playoffs, hell yeah. And then we won't have to talk about Frederik Andersen. So, yeah, that's the thing I wanted to talk about while we're simulating here. Harold Bluetooth Frederik Andersen. He's in his last year of his deal. The original plan was to get rid of him when Patrick Spacek was available, along with James Van Riemsdyk and possibly Taylor Hall. And it's almost like you go into the second generation of this Toronto Maple Leaf squad. You have to leave the veterans behind. You might even drop, oh, for God's sakes, Frederick Harold Bluetooth goes down with an injured arm. Estimated return is November 13th. I won't be gone for that long, but I have to bring up a goaltender now. Good God. Thanks a lot, Freddie. Gonna have to be Garrett Sparks. Yeah, Garrett Sparks. All right, so I'll bring up Sparky. Boom. Gonna have to edit the lines myself. No, do not do best lines. Both teams are missing their goaltender right now, or missing a goaltender. Come on now, I'm holding down the right trigger. Goddamn game. Oh, it's got to be left trigger for goaltenders. Okay, so Gibson, get in the net. Harold Bluetooth has been hit with an injured arm, but he should be okay. It's not going to be that long. And the AHL, do they automatically switch out? Come on, Jesus. Yeah, it takes so long. Spot check. All right, so I'll just get in the backup in there and nap. All right, so I'll probably have to come right back and do this in a day or two. We might not even get a game simulated. Will you be back for Detroit? Edit scouting assignment. So I did the forwards for the OHL. Let's go back for defensemen. 6 weeks. There you go. I was trying to talk about the veterans on the team, even the defensemen. Jake Gardner, you know, you have to think about him eventually. God damn it! All right, give me a second. All right, so he's back. Harold Bluetooth, 89. We're going to leave him as the backup right now. Hopefully, yeah, he should be, recovered injury for the next game. Perfect. So I'm trying to get a damn point out about the veteran defenseman on this damn team, and stuff keeps on popping up. So Jake Gardner, we have to decide about him eventually. Vili Polka, he didn't turn out to be that stud defenseman that I wanted him. He's fine as a partner for Morgan Riley, but he's certainly not somebody that has the untradeable or unmovable tag next to his name. Connor Carrick might be somebody I want to hold on to because right-handed defenseman, I'd like to see him get a few more assists, right? He only scores freaking goals, but still. So Morgan Riley, Connor Carrick, but then Eric Jelena, you got to figure out what to do with him. He's got 2 years left, including this year, so I believe Eric Jelena is certainly somebody that we have to trade away at the end of this year to free up that cap space and make sure he doesn't become a free agent, right? So Harold Bluetooth, Eric Jelena, Jake Gardner, Ville Polka, James Van Riemsdyk, and Taylor Hall. It might be the last year for these guys, so I'd like to go off on the right note. So hang on a second. We are up here at December. I haven't been paying attention. Oh my God, the Marlies. What are you guys doing? 7-9-2 for the Toronto Marlies. 11-8-3 for the Toronto Maple Leafs. All right, so you know what? We're actually not winning games right here. December. You know what? Yeah, let's call it right there, because I would like to get the Toronto Marlies back on track, and if I need to make a trade to do it, I will. And the same thing with the Toronto Maple Leafs. I'd love to try to win that President's Trophy this year. It's still early enough, but our record is not good enough, so some trades may have to happen or some line changes. So I'm going to show you guys the lines one last time. What do you guys think? JVR, Austin Matthews, Taylor Hall, Kasperi Kapanen, Mitch Marner, William Nylander. I hate to say this, but we may be running into a major problem having 3 playmakers on this team. Now, I know we have 2 Stanley Cups in 3 years, right? But you put 2 playmakers together, it doesn't seem like they're able to get points. I mean, Mitch Marner, 4 goals, 9 assists. It's actually, he's kind of come back here. 22 games played, only 13 points. You see, like I'd love to, if you could maybe go like boom and split up like Sprong up here and then Kasperi Kapanen. Then you got Timoshev. You put Timoshev on the 4th line to split all the playmakers up. Get a playmaker on each line, right? But then the ice time becomes an issue. Yeah, so boys, we have to. I don't know if it's a problem or not. This team doesn't look like it's the kind of team that can win a President's Trophy, but when we get to the playoffs, we simulate well. So, I don't know. I'll leave it to you guys. What should we do offensively? Defensively, looks like that. I know I'm going to have people saying Connor Carrick up to the first line. We'll see. Eric Jelena, 84. And AHL. What could we do for the AHL to allow us to play better defensively? I might actually have to take a look at the AHL stats to see what's going on here. Let's take a look at the goaltender, Patrick Spacek. How has he been playing recently? Let's see. His number's 76, so he grew a little bit, then went back down. He is... No, it's not 5-0. It's 5-5-0 with a goals against 2.34 and a save percentage of .912. So he's actually playing okay. I think it's a lack of goals for the AHL squad. So you know what? Maybe we are lacking an offensive defenseman. I could see the defensively. Like White's a 2-way defender. Oh no, Barberio is an offensive defenseman. I take that back. You might want to get another offensive defenseman in there for Valiev or Nelson though. Like another 80 instead of Nelson, right? And then forward, you might be able to go like a playmaker on that first line, like somebody who's like 82, 83. I don't know, boys. I could check out free agency again, but what do you guys think we should do to make the AHL squad play better and to turn our team into a President's Trophy winning team? I'll leave it right there, and I'll wait for your recommendations. Let me know, boys, and I will see you in the next one. Be sure to check out our website, 2bcsports.com, where the hockey talk continues. Find myself and others in the live interactive chat, or dive into the active forums to talk about sports and gaming. You can also find us on Twitch, where the live streams come to life.